the part of our unnatural behavior. Nature has not designed this beautiful, perfect human nervous system to remain in agony. But if we eat something very hard, or if we eat sand, and then the stomach will do quite a lot of revolting, and then the whole thing will So there are certain things which are meant to be eaten, other things are not for us to eat. They may be for horses to eat, for other animals to eat, but not for man. So each nervous system has its own function to perform. Human nervous system has the function to perform, and in performing, he has to enjoy the waves of happiness, great joy, great love. All this is for man. But when we put some hard things, undigestible things, some poisons in our body, we strain our system of perception by extraordinary loaded experiences, then the system begins to break, and that is what we say stressed. And these stresses cause abnormal behavior. And it is abnormality that comes to us as suffering. And abnormality is not designed or intended by nature. Not knowing how to behave with this most precious and delicate machine, we start to misbehave with it. And in our misbehavior, responsibility comes to us, and then we suffer. Suffering is not in the design of the Almighty, infinitely intelligent, merciful Creator. Suffering is not in His design. Particularly for man, it is certainly not in the design of God. Because someone very wisely said, man is made in the image of God. When we create our own image, we don't want even our image to suffer. We would not. We would not want our image to suffer. So when God created man in His image, He never designed man to suffer. Suffering is foreign to man's nature. Suffering is foreign to nature, that's all.
How did man ever break away then from periods of peace and being like... How did man ever break away from periods of peace and living pure beings, such as Krishna's period?
This is because he got freedom. Infinite freedom to man. He can do anything. Fine, do anything. But mind, you have to bear the consequences of what you do. So freedom of action is to man. But then he must bear the consequences of how he acts. It is the ignorance about life that makes man do which is not good to him. The ignorance about life. And throughout the ages, the understanding about life has been very perverted, very wrong. All spiritual quest has been there throughout the ages, but through a wrong understanding. And that is why generation after generation, man has been found suffering. It's due to lack of proper knowledge. Lack of proper knowledge. Now in this generation, we are reviving the real knowledge of life, and then we will establish a situation in society so that no man has ever to suffer.
How could man, being carried on by the momentum of the Absolute during certain periods, ever become ignorant of the teaching, and how can man's perception start suffering the way that it has? If man's in tune with the Absolute, how can he ever fall back to the relative again without infusing the Absolute into that?
Because bliss is man's nature. Great happiness is man's nature. So, wherever he goes, he enjoys. Doesn't matter where he goes, he just enjoys. Wherever he goes, he enjoys. Because happiness is his own nature. So wherever he goes, whatever he does, he enjoys. Now, in whatever he started to do, by nature he enjoys. Enjoying, there would be some man who would continue to enjoy that level of joyfulness. There would be some man who would search for more different levels of joy. But there would be many who would enjoy doing what they enjoy. It's like that example. The father, out of kindness, gave a 20-roomed house full of garden and all that to his son. And the son was stuck up in the library room. He had a reason. He found himself surrounded by all the wise men of all times. Now he enjoys that library room. There is some joy in that room. That joy may fascinate him. He may not step out of that room, and 19 other rooms may remain locked for him. Because he has the joy of the library room, and he enjoys that. He has all the keys, a bunch of keys of all the 19 doors. But the joy of this 20th room is enough for him. Just that. There are 7 states of consciousness for every man designed by God, by nature. Man found waking, dreaming, sleeping. This is enough. Fine, enjoy that enough. Just that. He never stepped onto the 4th. And then all the scriptures, the written documents about the whole field of life, they declared it's very difficult to get on the 4th state of consciousness. Waking, dreaming, sleeping, waking, dreaming, sleeping. Man started to enjoy waking state of consciousness in as many ways as possible. Flying to the moon and getting to the foundation of the ocean and all that, in and out, everywhere, in the air, in the water, on earth, everywhere. Remain in the waking state of consciousness. Spread a network of joyfulness in the waking state. He found this was enough. So it's man's choice. And this choice came about due to lack of knowledge of better fields of choice. Lack of knowledge, that's all, lack of knowledge.
Om So in hearing you speak, you've pretty much answered this next question, but I would like to ask it just the same. Why did you come out of the Himalayas, Maharishi, to teach transcendental meditation to people everywhere in the world?
I think it's the nature of a bulb to emit light. Once it is lit, it can't keep light within itself. It's the nature of life to progress, and the knowledge, to give out knowledge is such a natural thing in man. It belongs to the value of life, which always grows and grows. Life is progressive. It evolves, it grows spontaneously. A small young child sees the yellow car going on the road, and then he runs to the mummy, "Mummy, yellow car." He sees something and he wants to deliver that message to others. It's natural to life. Teaching is a natural profession. Everyone who has any knowledge, he just can't feel rested till he has given out. Motivated by this natural tendency of life to give out knowledge, I came out of the Himalayas. I couldn't rest there. This science of creative intelligence, this knowledge of effortlessly making ourselves acquainted with the deepest value of life, which is so marvelous, unbounded awareness, bliss consciousness, such great harmony, happiness, peace, freedom from stress, all these wonderful results through one simple, comfortable sitting with closed eyes. It's such a beautiful technique. Having got this from my master, it was not possible to sit quiet in the Himalayas.
Did you, Maharishi, at the time you decided to go out and to teach, teachers as it were, did you envision it growing as rapidly and becoming as big as it has?
I expected this growth about 6 years ago. I thought that in the West all the people are scientifically advanced and technologically grown up, very widely intelligent. And I thought it will not take much time for this message to grow because it's so simple, so useful. But it has taken that much time. Actually, I started with the world plan, but I couldn't speak of the world plan just because there were not enough teachers. And when this year I found there are about 4,000 teachers, then I said, with this strength, we can establish at least 3,600 teacher training centers. The world plan. But the whole movement was started with the whole population in view. Because the technique is so simple, so natural, anyone who can think, can meditate with the simplicity and naturalness of the practice of transcendental meditation. It was easy to whisper in all parts of the world and everyone would start to take advantage of it. But even in this jet age, it has taken these many years, 12, 13, 14 years. But it doesn't matter, better late than never. So this 1972 is the year of the World Plan, and very soon we hope to reach the whole population of the world with this wonderful message of science of creative intelligence.
I came into the room tonight, and the place is buzzing with excitement. And yesterday there was a big inauguration of the Vedic Sciences, and there'll be a new college or a new university. Can you tell me about that? Can you elaborate on that?
Vedic University is a timely development in the field of education. All the education that is given in all these universities in the world, I thought one very precious element missing, and that is the man's ability to harness support of nature. And Vedic study is that very precious field of knowledge whereby one can really harness the full potential, full creative potential of nature. The full organizing power of nature can guide one's thinking and action. With that, what is going to be? A very fulfilled society will be born. Man will have support of nature, all the laws of nature will support his thought and action, and with that, there will be no frustration in life. That is the hope that has come out from the inauguration of the Vedic University in Washington. And that's the excitement here, you see.
So this is the first university of its kind in Washington, the Vedic University.
I think the second in the world, and first, of course, in Washington.
That's very exciting news. Now, you say that we will have support of nature. What does this mean? What can man expect once support of nature comes to Washington and places around the world as Vedic universities are set up? What is support of nature?
Support of nature is that help from natural law. You know, life is basically driven by natural laws. Different laws of nature govern different aspects of one's activity. And Vedic University will enable the students to identify their conscious mind with the field of the Veda, which modern science says the unified field of all the laws of nature, transcendental consciousness, which people experience through transcendental meditation.
With the Vedic schools and with people becoming more enlightened, I understand there'll be a concentration on medicine. Is this true?
Concentration on prevention.
Prevention.
If the nature supports, then one will not be worried and anxious, and there will be no stress, and there will be all peace and happiness, all achievements.
Is it possible? Is it really possible to have a dream where there'll be a trouble-free society? Is it possible that governments can represent all of the people? Is that part of the dream for the inauguration?
That's soon going to be an actuality, no? This was the dream of all the wise throughout the ages, but now that is going to be a substantial realization of today's society. Governments represent the people anyway. But with this, the national consciousness will be more coherent, more supported by nature, and then the governments will be the first beneficiary of this. The government will be supported by nature. All the plans and programs of the government will come to be materialized, and that will be the positive gain for the nation.
Are we silly to think that someday, Maharishi, we'll see a society where the government will represent everyone, where people will be healthy, where there'll to be a reduced crime rate to the point where people can walk on the streets and be comfortable. Is that really the purpose of inaugurating a university such as the one you have?
Exactly.
Are some people going to say this is too far-fetched, too utopian, there's too much trouble in the world?
No, 2 times in 1 year we have given the taste of utopia to the world. One last year and one this year. The 7,000 is that number in the world, square root of 1% of world's population. They come together and practice this technology of the unified field, and thereby all identify their conscious mind with the unified field, most basic level of creation, from where the laws of nature govern all activity in the cosmos, and create evolutionary trends in society. So this has already been proven 2 times on a global scale, and therefore it's not a too far-fetched thing and no more a dream now. It's thing of the waking state. Not the thing of the dreaming state, nothing of future, but this year it is the thing of the present, and this year it is a thing of the past also. Last year and this year, 7,000 practicing the technology of the unified field together have created great positivity in the world.
I came into the room tonight, and the place is buzzing with excitement. And yesterday there was a big inauguration of the Vedic sciences, and there'll be a new college or a new university. Can you tell me about that? Can you elaborate on that?
Vedic University is a timely development in the field of education. All the education that is given in all these universities in the world, I thought one very precious element missing, and that is the man's ability to harness support of nature. And Vedic study is that very precious field of knowledge whereby one can really harness the full potential, full creative potential of nature, the full organizing power of nature can guide one's thinking and action. With that, what is going to be? A very fulfilled society will be born. Man will have support of nature, all the laws of nature will support his thought and action, and with that there will be no frustration in life. That is the hope that has come out from the inauguration of the Vedic University in Washington. And that's the excitement here, you see.
So this is the first university of its kind in Washington, the Vedic University.
I think the second in the world, and first, of course, in Washington.
That's very exciting news. Now, you say that we will have support of nature. What does this mean? What can man expect when support of nature comes to Washington and places around the world as Vedic universities are set up? What is support of nature?
Support of nature is that help from natural law. You know, life is basically driven by natural laws, different laws of nature, govern different aspects of one's activity. And Vedic University will enable the students to identify their conscious mind with the field of the Veda, which modern science says the unified field of all the laws of nature, transcendental consciousness, which people experience through transcendental meditation.
At the Vedic with the Vedic schools and with people becoming more enlightened, I understand there'll be a concentration on medicine. Is this
Concentration on prevention.
prevention?
If the nature supports, then one will not be worried and anxious, and there will be no stress, and there will be all peace and happiness, all achievements.
Is it possible? Is it really possible to have a dream where there'll be a trouble-free society? Is it possible that governments can represent all of the people? Is that part of the dream for the inauguration?
That's soon going to be an actuality. No? This was the dream of all the wise throughout the ages, but now that is going to be a substantial realization of today's society. Governments represent the people anyway. But with this, the national consciousness will be more coherent, more supported by nature, and then the governments will be the first beneficiary of this. The governments will be supported by nature. All the plans and programs of the government will come to be materialized, and that will be the positive gain for the nation.
Are we silly to think that someday, Maharishi, we'll see a society where the government will represent everyone, where people will be healthy, where there will be a reduced crime rate to the point where people can walk on the streets and be comfortable? Is that really the purpose of inaugurating a university such as the one you have?
Exactly.
Are some people going to say this is too far-fetched, too utopian, there's too much trouble in the world?
No, 2 times in 1 year we have given the taste of utopia to the world. One last year and one this year. The 7,000 is that number in the world, square root of 1% of world's population. They come together and practice this technology of the unified field.
So it might be interesting to see how this picture of evolution, what it has to do with the idea which many physicists still believe, anyway, that the history of the universe is one of uniform second law of thermodynamics. Is the entropy of the universe increasing or not?
This is a very complicated question. And I want not to be too, kind of statements about such kind of things, because the universe is very big, as you know, there's many things. And this requires a very detailed statistical theory, dynamical theory, you see, of entropy creation. Especially in this universe, gravitation also plays a very important role. And the question if gravitation is compatible with the second law and what are exactly the relation is something which is very difficult. However, let me again emphasize that whatever the details are, certainly, let's say there is a tendency, there are irreversible processes in the universe, that is clear. And these irreversible processes increase entropy. Let's say there are also short-range forces involved and electromagnetic forces, and there is no doubt that for them entropy is increasing. However, this entropy increase is in a universe which is extremely far from equilibrium. We have not the slightest vision of how this beautiful idea of this expanding universe will go back to some equilibrium state. In other words, the idea of heat death seems not be, there is nothing in the astrophysical picture, to my knowledge, which gives rise to any idea that this will be reversed. Because after all, according to what my astrophysical friends say, the universe is an open universe, and there is no enough matter to think that this trend will be reversed, and that at some point the universe will again collapse in some initial stage. You see, it seems that there is some kind of unique thing going on if I can say. And this, of course, is something very, very difficult, very leading to, from the philosophical point of view, to very deep problems for which, in fact, perhaps we have not the right language to tackle these problems, because in one way or another we are always coming to the same question: what means time on an enormous scale? Because if we speak about the starting point, then we have always the question: what was before the starting point? And then this is, of course, a very difficult question. And everything says there is no starting point and there was only a kind of phase transition or something like that. And the universe, in one way or another, is there.
A couple very interesting questions on the subject of education and genius. This is from a health writer in New York. There is growing interest in the scientific community about the potential of the human brain, including attempting to locate the origins of genius in the brain. What does Maharishi see as the origin of true genius? And why do so many of our greatest geniuses, artists, scientists, musicians, seem to have such unbalanced and even unhappy lives?
Education of art, science and commerce is not graphic, it's not total education. It does not train.
I'm beginning to think that Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, aka the Maharishi, might be the most egotistical man who's ever lived. I mean, it's a joke, but like, he lived in total bliss and splendor. I think there's a Netflix documentary about him. I'm not sure. But I'm listening to the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi YouTube channel. It has 44,000 subscribers. And in terms of linguistic analysis, I think there's a lot of gurus that spring up and essentially say the same type of positive neurolinguistic programming and create cults based around positivity. And there's many examples of gurus and Maharishis. Alan Watts, even Timothy Leary, they are all variations of the same positive neurolinguistic game, which is a great game. I'm not saying it's not a fun game, but what I'm saying is, what if we were to analyze the effectiveness of each one of these gurus in terms of bringing about world peace, and then we were to look at the wealth that was generated by talking about world peace and personal peace, it really made their lives that much better. That's all I'm saying. This guy Maharishi, he lived in flowers. Every single time he's on all these recordings, he's always presented as a flower.
In physiology.
But what is the secret life of Maharishi? I should write a book and call it The Secret Life of Guru Maharishi. Here we go.
To be totally used in thinking or action. Very partial use of the brain is utilized in any field of knowledge or action. All the
So TM is a copyright. It's actually Transcendental Meditation, but they call it TM. It's very big in the world, big in LA. The creator of Dune, or the early director, whatever his name is again, he's a big practitioner of TM. Jerry Seinfeld is a big practitioner of TM. Many people seem to use TM for creative purposes, and it's meditation.
called the great genius
But it's really like a hypnosis in many ways.
is Nobel Prize winners in physics and in chemistry and this and this and this. Their partial brain is used, only partial brain is used. Look to the other aspects of their life. They are in
So what's kind of amazing is if you compare Maharishi to Sam Harris, you'll realize that Sam Harris, it's all just a hypnosis. No matter whatever your opinion is of Maharishi Sam Harris, you have to basically view it as a communication hypnosis or content. And the word content, the word content is in there. So either it makes you content or it doesn't make you content. For a lot of people, if it confirms bias, well then it's contentment.
Bankruptcy. Education today is very fragmented. It does not use total brain in thinking or speaking and action. No. The only one experience that trains the total brain to function. There is only one experience. There is only one experience. 1,000 times we can repeat this. There is only one experience which makes use of total brain physiology, and that is the experience of abstract emptiness. Abstract emptiness. In the Vedic literature, the word is Atyanta Bhav.